Imagine building a musical empire over 4 decades, only to watch it collapse in a single day. That's what just happened to Dave Mustaine. The frontman of Megadeth, once hailed as a thrash metal legend, now faces a sentence that changes everything. No more shows, no more music, no more Megadeth. This is the end. The courtroom was dead silent when the verdict came down. You could feel the weight of it. Dave Mustaine, the man who clawed his way to the top after getting kicked out of Metallica, the guy who turned Megadeth into a metal powerhouse, stood there stunned, his fire gone, his shoulders slumped. This wasn't just another headline. This was the end of an era. After months of legal chaos, the sentence was brutal. Megadeth dissolved, millions in damages, a total ban on performing his own music, and, maybe worst of all, a court-ordered apology for the damage his words caused over the years. It was official. The legacy he built, the identity he wrapped his entire life around, was over. Let's rewind for a second. For nearly 40 years, Mustaine was metal. Megadeth sold over 38 million records, earned 12 Grammy nominations, and stood shoulder to shoulder with Metallica, Slayer, and Anthrax as pillars of thrash. His guitar work? Next level. His lyrics? Raw, political, in-your-face. But times change, and what once came off as rebellious started to sound dangerous. Former bandmates started talking. Allegations surfaced, not about his music, but about how he ran the band, the way he treated people, his public comments. Statements that used to be brushed off as just Mustaine being Mustaine started looking a lot darker under a modern spotlight. It wasn't one moment that brought him down. It was a pattern. Over the years, he'd made public statements that critics now say crossed the line, not just edgy but harmful, incendiary, conspiratorial. When he went off script during a recent tour and launched into a political rant mid-set, the internet exploded. The video went viral in hours. Over 200,000 people signed a petition demanding Megadeth be dropped from venues. And that was the turning point. The trial that followed pulled back the curtain on years of unchecked behavior. Former members testified about psychological manipulation. Crew members spoke of discriminatory practices backstage. One ex-guitarist even claimed Mustaine sabotaged his career out of spite. Fans, ethics experts, and even other artists weighed in. And in the end, the judge made it clear, influence comes with responsibility. And Mustaine had crossed the line one too many times. The ruling hit hard. The judge didn't hold back. Megadeth, as it existed, was done. Mustaine was banned from performing his own music professionally. He owed millions in damages, and he had to issue a public apology, acknowledging that his past statements had caused real harm. Outside the courthouse, it was chaos. Fans cried, clutching old albums and shirts. Protesters screamed about free speech. Music insiders called it a defining moment, a wake-up call for the entire industry. But for Mustaine, this wasn't just a career setback. It was the destruction of everything he'd built. To understand how we got here, you've got to know where he came from. Born in La Mesa, California, Mustaine didn't exactly have an easy start. His childhood was rough: poverty, abuse, instability. Music became his escape. After getting booted from Metallica in '83, he came back swinging. Megadeth was born out of pure revenge. And that drive turned into one of metal's most powerful redemption stories. But it was always personal. Megadeth wasn't just a band, it was him. Every album, every tour, every feud. It was all part of the identity he built to survive. And maybe that's why he couldn't change, even when the world around him did. People who worked with Mustaine describe him as a genius and a tyrant. Over 20 musicians cycled through Megadeth, and that wasn't by accident. He demanded control, loyalty, obedience. If you pushed back, you were out. Former producers talk about two Daves, the brilliant artist and the paranoid dictator. Over time, the latter took over. When public opinion shifted, Mustaine didn't pivot. He doubled down. Critics weren't just disagreeing with him. They were enemies trying to silence him. At least, that's how he saw it. And the more isolated he got, the more extreme his statements became. The final straw came during a show on their last tour. Mid-performance, Mustaine launched into a rant, political, intense, and way over the line. Dozens of fans caught it on their phones. Within hours, it was everywhere. That single clip cracked the dam. Former members, silenced for years by NDAs or fear, started speaking out. David Ellefson, Megadeth's longtime bassist, testified. So did ex-guitarists, sound engineers, even stagehands. What they painted was a disturbing picture. Power abused, fans targeted, conspiracy theories pushed as facts. And it wasn't just talk. One fan testified that Mustaine's rhetoric had inspired him to join a violent demonstration. The message was clear. This wasn't just about music anymore. This was about consequences. The fallout was immediate. Streaming platforms slapped warning labels on songs. Retailers pulled Megadeth merch from shelves. Festivals dropped them from their lineups. Guitar companies canceled Mustaine's endorsements overnight. Even the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame quietly removed Megadeth from consideration. The fan club disbanded. 30 years of loyalty gone. Longtime supporters couldn't ignore the damage anymore. Forums lit up with debates, denial, anger, grief. His empire dismantled, not slowly, instantly. So what happens to Dave Mustaine now? In his 60s, banned from performing, facing financial ruin, and completely out of the spotlight for the first time in decades. His future is murky at best. Some insiders say he's considering an appeal, but the odds aren't good. Others think he might try to reinvent himself. Maybe producing, maybe something behind the scenes. But even that seems unlikely under the court's restrictions. What's left is silence and questions. Can you separate the music from the man? That's the question now. Albums like Rust in Peace and Peace Sells are legendary, but can they survive their creator's fall? Music critics, ethicists, and fans are all weighing in. Academic panels are already using this case to talk about the line between expression and accountability. Whatever your stance, one thing's clear: this was a breaking point for the industry. The rules have changed, the consequences are real, and the message is loud. Influence without responsibility isn't tolerated anymore. Dave Mustaine's sentence is final. No encores, no redemption tour. Just a man stripped of the legacy he spent a lifetime building, forced to say goodbye forever. The stage is empty, whatever your stance. One thing's clear: this was a breaking point for the industry. And that's all for today. If you found this video interesting, make sure you hit the like button, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more of these kinds of videos. Thanks for watching.